Chilling at the head of the table where the bosses sit, stunning everything in sight, whether it's in the bloodline or corporate. Walk me out there, laid a big smile, no handcuffed by officers. Hold on, wait. They lost the script, we got some shooters. Pow. It's off the hip. Yeah. Oh, chilling at the head of the table where the bosses sit, stunning everything in sight, whether it's in the bloodline or corporate. Walk me out there, laid a big smile, no handcuffed by officers. Hold on, wait, I think they lost the script, we got some shooters. Pow. It's off the hip. Chilling at the head of the table where the bosses sit, stunning everything in sight, whether it's in the bloodline or corporate. Walk me out the arena, big smile, no handcuffed by officers. Hold on, wait, I think they lost
sir, it's Friday, December 27, 2024. Off the hip, unwelcome your thoughts. We are here. Oh yeah.
Final SmackDown of the year 2024.
Oh yeah, baby. Let them know something. That's right.
Chilling at the head of the table where the bosses sit, stunning everything in sight, whether it's in the bloodline or corporate.
What is Cody Rhodes looking up at tonight? Because it's not Daddy. It's not Dusty. Oh yeah, Chad, we're gonna start soon. Get him right over here.
I just talked about today's episode.
Yes, sir.
But that is a fair question for the masses.
Man. Let's get into it, Chad. Y'all see it? We welcome y'all. Unwelcome your thoughts off the hip. My brother Razor HD. Man, how you feeling today, bro?
I mean, I'm feeling grand, but as far as what we saw from today's episode of SmackDown, even this past Monday's Raw, I mean, I'm all for the cool downs, but let me ask the people around the world, what would define a bad episode? Do we need fireworks to go off every week like no one's business? Yes.
You know, I had a serious sit down with myself about this, and it depends how badly one wants to be engaged. You know, there's a fine line between loving something and feeling like you're forcing yourself to watch something because you either have to cover content or because, again, you feel like you love it so much you can't turn your back on the product even when it's bad. And I say that because I had that combo with basketball, right? Like, I was a fan of when they used to take their time play a triangle offense. Now, in basketball, you see them running up the court just shooting. Like, there's no real pick P&Rs going on. It's just run up the court, shoot. You know what I'm saying? Jack up shots. Let's get some more. So, I mean, as things change, as each sport, including wrestling, evolves, that's a deep question one has to answer. And you know.
And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. This is the final 2-hour SmackDown. As Michael Cole confirmed, next week, January 3rd, 3 hours.
I'm gonna be honest though, I feel like I'm not accustomed to getting, I could be wrong, but I always remember like a best of Raw happening or a best of SmackDown. Like, it was kind of like, oh, they're having an episode. Even Monday Night Raw, this Monday's having an episode, right? Like, so it's kind of like, wow, okay. There's no real time off. Even though we're getting a pre-tape, we're not getting those best of episodes like years prior, which I'm not mad at that. But it is a lot, like you said, it's a little bit surprising to see, like, damn, this is the last SmackDown 2024.
Essentially the end of an era.
I felt like one of the biggest things was seeing Braun Strowman. We'll get to that later if we will. But that was a little refreshing, I guess. I mean, that it didn't make me feel much, but I'm like, okay, we throwing a little side quest in there for them, right? Like, I don't know how to feel about this episode, or like you said, the past Raw episode. I don't know what to expect, but maybe because we're a little older, I feel like there what unless I'm wrong and I'm just thinking about the highlights of what we used to grow up on. Every week was action, bro. Every week was fireworks flying. And it was mainly because of the Monday Night Wars, and things slowed down eventually after there was no more competition. But them that 90s, that attitude that were right before leading into ruthless aggression, there was sparks every week.
But then in those days, you had to keep that momentum up. There was no option.
You
Whereas
had
here, to
to.
where for the most part, I mean, yes, there are the alternatives. We'll get to that later, but for the most part, it's just yes, they got the bag. So what are they doing to elevate themselves and lock in a bigger bag? We
Mm.
see what's slowly coming with the WID. We see what NXT is slowly becoming. We see all these partnerships that they have branched out to these past few months alone. So WWE in, I would say, 5 years, maybe 2 to 3 years time, it's going to be vastly different than what it is now.
And that's what kind of like, again, we talk about the things that we love. That's the reason why we're all here, folks. The chat out there, the community, you know what I'm saying? Off the hip nation. That's why we're here right now, because this is what we love. We love professional wrestling. And at times, that's kind of what alarms me. That I'm open to new. I'm open to new stuff, new direction. But the way it's being presented at times, it's kind of like, okay, I can expect that there's a slow, like you said, there's no real hunger for more at this moment. And we have the major storylines in place. And when those things aren't going on, the shows are okay. That's what I've digested post Bloodline WrestleMania 40. What's your
Post the peak of
what's your
Judgment
what's
Day.
your yeah, like what's your feel and stance of post WrestleMania 40 now that we like approaching? But we're gonna get into the SmackDown recap, chat. It's just, this was like an on the fly question that just popped in my head. I want to know your thoughts on post WrestleMania 40 WWE landscape right now. Like, do you feel
I
like
mean,
we at a good place heading in this direction?
that depends on what avenue we're talking about. Honestly, if we're talking about just solely the main event scene, I'm talking Raw and SmackDown to a degree, even NXT. I'd say it could probably be in a much better light. I think this year there's been more spotlight on the mid card titles more than anything else. We've seen an immense growth in all three women's divisions. So to me, between the North American, men's, women's, US IC belts, that's kind of where the focus has been on, elevating the bottom tiers. But back to the main event scene, it's probably in the same limbo that the tag divisions are into. It's like there's kind of been nothing there all year.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that's because Roman and other heavy hitters aren't in the fold. It's just the build to what we ultimately got from Gunther being crowned world heavyweight champion and Cody being crowned undisputed champion. It's they kind of backed themselves in the corner because there was no real follow ups, and a lot of that has to do with everyone that could have been up in that main event picture has now been solidified in these mid card pictures.
Now I want to piggyback off. You know what I'm saying? Another channel, another source that I watch, JD. You guys are familiar, JD from NY. Now, my point is, he speaks a lot on long term booking, but I agree with him on him wanting that. But I think they reached too much with the long term booking instead of actually thinking out the long term. It's kind of like, okay, some shit happened in the past. We're gonna go back to that instead of thinking forward. How can we make these superstars work in this story for the X amount of time?
Well,
And I
not
could
only
be
that,
wrong, but that's what I feel.
but my opinion is not all stories need to have a long term setting. It's
Mm.
okay for a story now and then to just be a one and done, maybe 1 2 months, get in, get out, and go home. There's nothing
You
against
know,
the talent. It's just that certain story is meant to be just a stepping stool, not a key factor in their character development.
and it almost feels like now that in this era, in the Triple H era, I'm getting preconditioned to long term booking that when they do throw something random at us, it kind of feels out of place. It doesn't feel like a good drive by. It feels
Right.
I really wish that the tournaments, the King of the Ring tournaments, all of these tournaments that are happening, kind of have more. They have importance. Don't get me wrong, but I felt like they were kind of just announced. Like they were kind of just like
Well, that
on
one
a
specifically may be bound by the Saudi contract for the foreseeable future.
yeah. So it's like there's other things that play also, but I felt like Vince managed that portion well. He wasn't jeopardized. I mean, I could be wrong again. It seemed like he wasn't putting. He was just giving them attraction shows in Saudi. We'll get a month of an attraction show.
And then Triple H gives them one good card, and then they say, "Hey, can we get a WrestleMania?"
So it could get real dicey, but yeah, like tonight's opening to SmackDown, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sold on this thing with Jade needs to happen and it needs to happen fast. I don't know what Naomi and the time has flown. If you're gonna include them as like like you been said this Razor, they should have been a trio, maybe with the
It should have
Freebirds
been the
group,
they first were a trio of what, Mania?
the big three they were called.
Yeah, but that was Mania, right? Night one.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, so after that, they should have just stayed as the trio, whatever, or just something, whether it's similar music, similar gear, whatever the case may be. But yeah, just solidify them as that, not pick and choose when it's somewhat convenient. What I
Now
did
that
like was I did like the little twist that Nia Jax kind of spit in saying, "Hey, how do this all is a diversion to forget the fact that maybe you took her out."
yeah. Oh, but also in that little dig right there, we got a shot thrown at Tiffany Stratton
Got a
from
few
Nia
shots thrown at
Jax.
her.
Yeah,
Like she can even win this. We'll make sure that she can have this work out this plan all by herself.
yeah. Take out Jade, which again, that's another thing that again, long term. I don't know if that's considered long term. I just feel
It,
like that's dragging right there. That's not even
it,
long
it,
to me.
it
That
is getting there. Um, I'm already kind of over the whole Candice LeRae stuff. I mean, it's fine, but for me personally, I'm kind of over it.
nah, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. It's not hitting the
Um,
same.
Survivor Series or even Saturday's main event would have been perfect times to just cash it in. Hell, you had a whole sold out crowd at Crown Jewel wanting to cash in.
And they missed their way. They missed their way, all pun intended, on having the way on NXT. Right now, you have Austin Theory.
NXT
I
was a
mean,
bit different.
excuse me, on SmackDown. You're right. I'm sorry. Excuse me, on SmackDown. You have Austin Theory, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, but they let go Indy Hartwell. And all three of them are heel right now.
Oh, you forget one other person, but he's kind of in a much better spot. I'm gonna just be honest. That's Dexter Loomis.
Correct. He's over on Raw doing his thing, which he
That's
looked phenomenal. I
I
thought he
feel
looked good in that match.
that's much better suited for him. But we'll get to Raw here in a little bit. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like you had a shot. You could have kept the way together, and it could have been something for all of them as a whole. and for the most
especially
part, most
right
of
now
them
with this
are
troll
floundering.
shit. Yeah, like it would have been, and you could have even, in my opinion, if you could want to swap people, you could maybe take out Dexter Loomis since he's doing the Raw thing, and had Grayson in this since A-Town Down Under's already like still rolling with them as a team. You wouldn't have to break, you know.
You know what kind of bothers me about Candice LeRae right now? It's no fault to her. It's just that the way her character is being perceived, it's too much like a Timu Alexa Bliss.
That mixed with the Sasha Banks because of the hairstyle color. I feel like Sasha
Well, well,
Banks introduced that
well,
non-traditional.
Bliss kind of remember she had the little Harlequin type deal with the
Yup,
powder blue, the hot pink,
yup,
whatever, little psycho, blah, blah, all
yup.
that nonsense. Liv Morgan kind of
Mm-hmm.
tried to for a little bit,
Followed up. Yup.
but it's just what Candice's persona, especially being so close to Nia, because remember Nia's close to Bliss as well. It's just her role and what she's been doing. It screams Alexa Bliss to me, and that it kind of drives me up the wall a little because it's like
But you know
we've
that
seen this
doesn't
before.
bother me.
We've seen how it's been done properly and the way Bliss does it.
You know what? All right, so if that's what bothers me, you know what bothers me more? How they have Tiffany Stratton reacting towards Candace's character, like as if she's kind of
That's
like,
the other thing.
yeah, like she's scared to stick up to her. Like I mean, Tiffany should have been popped Candace in the mouth. She should be done with Tiffany, with Nia Jax's shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Tonight could have been the night.
Again, I see what they're trying to do with Tiffany Stratton, and I'm gonna use a Jim Cornette influenced comparison real quick. You got a teacup poodle trying to intimidate a pit bull.
And do we seriously need that feel good Tiffany Stratton cash in? I'm not saying she needs to lose, but I'm just saying we
Now,
don't need a
if it was
WrestleMania
Nia,
moment.
say if Nia was teaming with a Tamina or even a Raquel, who is just two imposing, physically like intimidating women, yeah, I get that. But when it's the runt of the litter trying to be uh, bossy around her, it's like, nah. Had you given Candice more credibility along the way, you might be able to get me on it, but nah.
Right? Like Tiffany's just like her reaction tonight, like literally what I saw. Did you see that part of the match where Tiffany even tried to say something to Candace and Candace just walked off like I ain't listening to you.
Yeah, I'm like,
Like, I was like, yo, nah, that's crazy to me.
for lack of better term, because I can't think of it right now. They neutered her. They just killed her. Any steam she was building, they just killed her right then and there.
It did not make her look like a strong competitor whatsoever. That Candice LeRae stopped her cashing. Who stops? I've never seen. I'm gonna be honest. I've never seen nobody get their cashing stopped by the run of the litter, like you said.
And
I've
this
never
isn't the
seen.
first time this has happened.
I've never seen such a thing.
And that's it. This isn't the first time Candice has done this to Tiffany. Now, what I'd like to see from Tiffany is have her put Candice to the announce table or just drop her or something like that to where she tells Nia, it's me and you. We got this. We don't need her. That would have been
Isolate
so
her
much better
out,
than what we
man.
saw.
Oh Jesus! They just put Darby Allin's head in between the chair and was choking him lifeless. Oh gosh!
Vintage Darby Allin, folks.
And they just kicked him down the stairs. They just kicked him down the flight of
I
stairs.
repeat, vintage Darby Allin.
Mox, come on, Mox. Come home, Mox. Come on, man. Come on, Mox. But back to WWE SmackDown. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. I have AEW. What is this? Collision on the screen. Whatever this is. Rampage.
Yeah,
Oh man.
he got sidetracked by brain rot.
Yeah, I'm doing my best to keep up with all so we can keep the conversations going here, and we could talk about everything. But man, that was just crazy. Like they don't got to do that. They're not even gaining that much traction. What is that doing for them? Anyway, back to like
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
yeah,
Don't you worry, folks. Yeah, but
Candace.
it's like
I like what they're attempting with Candace. Like, but it just feels like who are you working on?
but like I said,
Because
we seen this years ago when it was Bliss and Nia. We already
yeah,
seen this.
And I'm not sure, like, okay, if you have a return to Charlotte Flair, I'm just gonna be honest. I would like to see her versus a Tiffany Stratton, but not this Tiffany, not the one that's scared to cash in because Candice LeRae stepped in front of her. That's not the Tiffany I want going against Charlotte. I'm on board with you. I'm with the Tiffany. I want to see Charlotte Flair versus the Tiffany Stratton that's putting Candice through the table and then turning on Nia. Like, nah, actually, this is my championship. Excuse me. And then from the reports,
Because right now, I'd much rather see Charlotte versus Chelsea Green.
and from the reports that I'm reading, I know I can't. I don't like to believe everything I read, but I did read it. They're positioning Charlotte to come back in beast mode.
And that's usually the age old game. It's one of those. Think about it. You have not as established, Rhea's established, but under them you have Chelsea who's on the up and up. You have whoever's going to win the IC belt on the up and up. You have Tiffany on the up and up. You have Liv on the up and up. You have women that arguably contest their wit against the Queen. For the first time in a long time, Charlotte has a legitimate pool of competition that's both just one or two girls. And Charlotte's going to put them through the rope. Let's not sell her short. Again, with all due respect, that's a bad bitch right there.
Charlotte don't lose to just anybody. I've never
Yeah,
seen that. Like,
and much like Brock, she don't sell against just anybody. You got to match that energy.
yeah.
She gonna bring it.
I'm not gonna lie. When they first bring up Rhea Ripley the first time and she faced Charlotte, I thought, maybe
Is that when she had that Vegeta inspired gear,
the
the white gear,
blonde.
whatever, the blonde hair?
Yup.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
again, I thought so too. But again, Rhea had that little bit down herself. Charlotte beat that doubt out of her, and then the rest is history.
This is what I'm
But
saying.
here's the
So
problem: these women, again, no disrespect, aren't as talented as Rhea is then and now. So if they have that shred of doubt against Charlotte Flair, that may be a death note for them, rather a means of motivation.
and that's why I don't see how positioning Tiffany Stratton like this could help her going forward. Because again, I look at her along the lines of a heel. I don't look at her as a superhero like Babyface. Like, oh, I need her to defeat a bully
It,
Nia
it
Jax.
it could work, but what we saw tonight does a lot more harm than good. What tonight basically damn near reset
What
her
what
ass
what
back to
what
square one.
what was she before she came in? A cheerleader, right?
Yeah, and then
In most movies, you see the cheerleaders are the mean girls. Those are the
yes,
mean girls.
which is true. But again, like with many baby faces, you get a little clever catchphrase going, and suddenly you go from insufferable to okay, you ain't half bad, and to now to where I think folks want to see she's getting this popular, so she's practically a baby face now. Whenever she cashes in on Naya, she will ultimately be one of the top baby faces. But the problem is, it's just how she's being presented right now. It's like,
I think this is an indictment on us as fans. What do I mean by that? We can love heels, but let's like if we want to keep them as heels, we have to boo them. We can't continue to cheer heels and make them lovable because when that happens, we see what happens with a LA Knight, Tiffany
but
Stratton.
let's look at SmackDown for a quick example. Aside from Naomi, Bailey, maybe Bianca for the time being, who else are the other baby faces for the women?
That's the problem. A lot of the workers right now are better off as heels. There's
I
not many
mean,
good natural baby faces out there right now. And they can be, but are they good enough to work at the highest level is the question. Like they might still have to work in NXT right now at the moment. You know what I mean? Like they still might be in the works.
I wouldn't even go that far because NXT right now has a few people that are natural twinners themselves, and that could just be a bad habit on WWE's part.
Yeah. Kind of rock the boat, see which way we want to lean with this character. Kind of like, yeah.
But also, again, I wouldn't say this is indictment on us fans. It's just we like who we like, and it's I think in Tiffany's case, is that she's on this rare fast track to where man or woman, I don't think anyone's gone from despise to appreciate in such a short amount of time.
Because I think that the roster
And
could benefit from a Soul Ruka, maybe. A
okay,
Soul. There was somebody else I was just thinking about
Kalani
at the
Jordan would be another
Kalani's
one.
a natural, yeah.
Again, just solid baby face.
Uh Lola Vice, perhaps, maybe. But
mm,
she got that aggression, so it could always lean towards the other side. But I feel like she's
I,
more
I'm not sold on Lola as a babyface. I'm genuinely curious to see her as a heel, much like a heel
Jada
the
kind
way Jada
of,
Parker
yeah.
is.
And Jada kind of pointed that out about Lola, right? Like she turned on her other friend. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna let her turn on me. So I mean, you might be there might be something there. She might be faking this whole little dancing, nice little vibe. That might, but that when it's fun, when it's like that, when you got tweeners that is like that, like they got hints of they might have been faking this good person act. It's fun, but I don't see that with Tiffany Stratton. I don't see this like her faking good. It's just like no, you got with a heel because that's what you are. But now you getting out healed by Naya. Like she on her bully with you. So we supposed to feel bad for you?
Instead of that, you're getting big broed by Candice LeRae.
Yeah, this isn't like Otis and Tozawa when they were with Gable. No. You willingly wanted to go try to slime Nia Jax. Like you seen opportunity. You seen the trajectory Nia was on. Oh, you queen of the ring. I'm the princess. Like you seen you was plotting your way. So as a viewer, remembering all of this, I don't really feel bad. If I find it funny when she come at you and then you don't do nothing.
Yeah, and again, there's different levels of baby face, but they're trying to match her up as a sympathetic baby face, and that just doesn't suit her, especially right now. Now, if you put her in a different scenario, maybe this might work, but with the current powers in play, this is doing more harm than good. And
Another
again,
thing, yeah, go ahead before I
that's
say my last thing about that.
just this whole stuff with Taylor Swift, this should have been a layup.
And it's taking too long. I'm sorry. Like, I'm better off not seeing these fake. Like, make me forget about it. I don't want to see her do like okay against Raquel. Raquel back to off. Raquel's big. I can understand Tiffany. Like, you know what? I'm gonna chill out. This one, I'm not buying. I'm not buying this one. This could have been her. I'm starting the new year off right. Maybe we get it on SmackDown January 3rd, right? I mean, I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe.
January 6th.
Maybe January 6th, Netflix. Maybe they keeping us, on our
or
toes with
or
it.
or, or maybe till the next Sash Man event, but something's gonna happen soon.
Yeah,
She's
I
inching
don't
dangerously close to the point of no return.
yeah, I don't need the Royal Rumble moment at this point. I don't need the we don't need a big pay-per-view moment. It's already kind of like, oh, where we going with this? And the last thing I just wanted to say about that too is all this six man, six woman matches. I like I think we could have did with the segment maybe like them jaw jacket maybe a one on one or a tag team, but
You
again,
could have been better off as maybe Tiffany versus Naomi or Bailey or something like that, and then have Candice kind of butt in or something. I don't know.
yeah, because I don't see the objective other than a Tiffany false cash in that didn't go right, and maybe it's supposed to make us feel bad for her and keep wanting to see her cash in, but for me at this moment it's kind of doing
Again,
the opposite.
we've seen this move how many times now? That's the problem with it. It's like it's become very anticlimactic now when it shouldn't be, because now when she does cash it, we're gonna be like, oh, all right. And then should she win, folks gonna be like, it's about time. Should she have a failed cash in, folks they're gonna say they did this months ago.
And I think that's why Seth Rollins, male or female, will always have the best cash in.
Seth
Because
Rollins had a classic one. Dolph Ziggler had a classic one.
mhm. Even
Alberto Del Rio had a
Edge,
classic one. Yeah,
even
Edge,
Edge.
Punk. Oh, even Carmella.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, that was different. It was different.
Who else? Was it not Nikki Cross? Who was? There's a woman that won in a cash at the same day. Wasn't Nikki Cross?
I remember Becky Lynch winning because I think Oscar got pregnant. Oh, it was either the other way around.
Oscar won the briefcase, but
Becky,
Becky had awarded the title or something like that because she was pregnant or
yeah.
something. But yeah, but there have been some good moments for men and women, but it's like we all see potential in Tiffany Stratton, but it's like we all
I
know
would
that she's
just prefer for her to be a tough competitor. This feel bad route, I don't think it's necessary. It's just not. And we wasted a SmackDown match, an opening SmackDown match on that moment. So it's tough for me to grade that. Like I would have to put that low on the grade right there. Like to open the SmackDown, last show of SmackDown for 2024, I would put that like 2 out of 5, and that's probably being nice.
yeah.
So, yeah, so it's like I feel like I see the intention, but the next match I was more entertained by Braun Strowman and Austin Theory.
Well,
I feel
before we get to
like
that match,
yeah, yep, yep.
let's set the table for how we got there.
Go ahead.
Last Friday on a very special edition of SmackDown, we were given a special edition of what was it, the Grayson Waller effect, whatever his talk show's name is,
Yep.
and they're talking about them blowing the budget on the setup. We then get a Santa Braun appearance, followed by Mello calling him what, a big Santa Claus bitch, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Braun just launches the set at Mello. We have that rematch, which was what it was. But fast forward to now, we have Grayson Waller hand Nick Aldis an invoice for the damages, so to speak, saying pay up. What were your thoughts on Aldis being handed the invoice?
I think it's a nice way to like keep some comedic stuff going on. You know what I mean? Not everything has to be serious, and I also love when they find ways to keep Nick Aldis in the mix, because we spoke about this. Him and Adam Pearce, to me, they have very important roles. Like they hold the roles that we once grew up on, the authority figures.
Mhm.
So I like to see, especially Nick Aldis. I think he really takes charge. Adam Pearce does too. But it's kind of like I don't know. Nick Aldis just he's not to me. I think he's just not with the shits more than
Well,
um
you got to
Pierce.
figure Aldis has about 6 inches in height and maybe 60 pounds of muscle on him on Pierce. So Nick Aldis is a much more intimidating person than Adam Pierce. In the words of Pat McAfee, that's one big son bitch right there.
And they both have so much similarities. It's always fun to see their expression, the shit that they don't want to have to deal with.
Hmm.
Like, oh man, you know.
But all this, he's been money since he's arrived in WWE. That
I
goes
mean,
without saying.
it was
It,
interesting to see the end of SmackDown tonight, to see what we saw. In my opinion, maybe I'm
it,
looking too much into it, but like again, physicality matters to me. So seeing a little bit,
and again, all authority figures, the authority figure NXT included, they've all been getting a little physical as of late, which is leaving us fans hopeful for the coveted one more match.
Mm-hmm.
But back to this, we have all this basically tell Waller in theory, I ain't paying you a dime. Also, looking at theory, you got a match with Braun anyway. Why don't you go settle the score with him? Maybe we will. But again, all this theory and Waller, all three of them, they are money.
I just feel like it's sad that I wish this match would have happened on a better SmackDown card, because it's like, all right, you got this after a bad opening, so this don't even feel relevant, but it was good, if that makes sense. Like,
Would you feel better if this opened the show?
I mean, we did know it was gonna get into it because of
Well,
last week. It could have
have
opened
that
it.
be like say instead of what we saw with that opened the show, say we got a backstage segment from Aldis where he's talking about what's been going on with Kevin Owens, which is what we ended up getting, where Aldis gives Kevin that ultimatum: hand over the Winged Eagle belt, or else.
Hmm.
Instead, he's interrupted by a ton downer with what we ended up getting. That might have came off a little bit easier.
To me, I think it would have, and then with the lead up, I think you leave that women's match maybe like third or something. I don't know, closer to the end, but not like the end. You know what I mean? Because I think the two matches that followed this kept me more invested than the opening match. But again, like I said, just like looking back in my memory and feeling like, okay, damn, Austin Theory and Braun Strowman, it happened and it was okay. But again, to have two back to back matches, that's kind of like, and this one, okay, to me, it was entertaining. Like Austin Theory selling that slap to the chest was kind of like Braun Strowman still show
Oh,
he's a,
when Braun was on his knee or something like that.
yeah. And you know, you got Theory just taunting him like, and he just stopped him in his tracks. One slap to the chest, boom, sent him right back down. Like, it's cool to see their usage, but again, it didn't really feel like much. And then we get um the interference, so it's like,
Yeah.
but Strowman still picks up the victory. So it was like, I was cool with it, with the match itself. Maybe again, I would have perhaps liked to see this type of match on a more stacked card, since this is like a throwaway. I don't really, and the reason I say that is, again, leading to the rest of the night, we seen Braun Strowman again. We'll get to that later, but I don't really see anything like with him and Theory or Grayson Waller. Maybe a few more matches, but I don't really see nothing notable out of that. It's kind of like, remember how they did the Bronson Reed stuff with Braun Strowman? It was just like 3 weeks and then that's it. Move on.
Well, yeah, I figured this kid Broad just coming back for a torn groin, so maybe he's getting the sea legs back. But
Which
even
is
then,
yeah.
like after a couple weeks, what do you do with him?
They got me. We kind of been saying it. How long before he makes his way home to the Y6? Does he ever? Or do you think that's something there he want to stay away from? They trying to keep him away from. He was never a good
Well,
fit. Do you think they just
I,
threw him
I'm
in the
still of the
Wyatts?
belief. I'm still of the belief that if he doesn't have any role with the YS6 shape or form, it's gonna have to be with Bliss. Like anything else won't really be as special, in my opinion.
And long term, those two were a tag team, right? The mixed tag team.
That and again, both of them were very close to Bray as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, to me, if Braun isn't healthy or they don't got plans to enter him into the heavyweight scene, because I look at him like, I mean, he's a former Universal Champion. I don't think he had a fair share at really like running with that thing.
Was he one of the ones that suffered from the wrath of the return of Goldberg? Probably,
I
huh?
think I don't know if he beat Goldberg. Did
It was
Goldberg beat him? Or I think
it was either Goldberg or Brock.
I think it was the Fiend that beat him. Remember, Roman took the belt from the Fiend in that triple
Is
threat
that when
match.
Braun was left in the swamp or whatever? That's yeah.
That's
Now I
why
remember.
I wasn't a fan of that. I'm gonna be honest. Love Bray Wyatt. Rest in peace. I wasn't really like too happy about that because I was high on Braun Strowman at that moment. I felt like, it's your time. It's his time. Y'all gave him the belt, and this how he lose it? And then to then have Roman come through and take it from the Fiend and him in the triple threat.
Just think about this. This is the heavyweight division. At the time, it was Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. Talk about super heavyweights.
I feel like he's entered the Big Show career. You know how the Big Show got used like just miscellaneously at the end. Think like Braun Strowman's entered that portion of his career. Like they really don't. Yeah, you a big giant. I mean, all right, we're gonna use it tonight doing like but they don't really have no plans with him. Which to me is kind of crazy, but I get it though. He hasn't been the most durable either. Like we
But
can't.
also,
Like,
realistically speaking, can you see him the way he's presented, or even just off of talent and ability? Can you see a realistic world to where he beats anyone that's a current singles champion right now on Raw or SmackDown?
he got to earn that back.
But one on one, can you see him beating Cody?
He should be able to.
Can you see him beating Gunther?
He should be able to.
Can you see him beating Braun?
Breaker, he should be able
Yes.
to. And I only say this off the merit that he was a universal champion and he won the tag team championships with a little kid. Which means he just won the match by himself,
We
really.
really going down that road again.
I mean, yeah, we don't have to. But Nicholas was a champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know. It's yeah, I might be asking for too much with the heavyweight scene, but at least Braun Breaker's not bad. He's on SmackDown now. Shinsuke might be something. They got Andrade getting mixed in with Shinsuke next week, I believe, which that looks to be like something there.
That'll be fun.
I like the little package they did for Andrade and talking about wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Braun
Um,
Strowman's only 41.
I mean, damn, Tom is he got. I don't want to say is, but like you ain't got that many unless with the injuries and stuff. Like, and again, I think what you said, the art of being a big man. These big men and Braun's a little older now. He don't need to do all of this running stuff he be doing to get injured but I don't know if that's what they require from him. But I think you just let him be a big savage.
Yeah.
That's it.
If he's got to do the Goldberg route where he's in and out in 5 minutes, that's the point of a giant. He ain't supposed to be in there for 20, 30, 40-minute matches.
And then it creates the story once again. Who can beat this guy?
Yeah.
Instead of it feels like everybody's got his number. We just chop the tree down. Let's go for his legs.
Or again, that speed championship, whatever, 3 minutes might be perfect for Braun. A boot here, a power slam here, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean they said that was for everybody, like heavyweights, everybody can enter that. So I mean, but you got the name. Let's talk about the segment.
Oh,
United
lead the
States
way.
Women's Champions, United States Women's Champion celebration. The white, red, and green, but obviously we seen the white, red, and blue. But she came out looking like Lady Liberty today.
You put some respect on her name.
She was out there looking like
That's in
Lady
your
Liberty.
city.
Oh baby, had me so flustered. Like she looked so good in them colors and just the whole fit. You didn't even look. It didn't look corny or like it really looked like she was wearing that thing. You know what I'm saying? She was really
Your
wearing
thoughts
that
on
thing.
Michael Cole calling her old?
You know what? I mean, I thought it was funny. He said that, and then right after that, the cameraman pans to some lady in the crowd
Uh
holding a
huh.
sign Chelsea Green versus Michael Cole WrestleMania 41. In my head, I said, "Book it. I'm for it. Let's go. I'm cool with it. I'm with it." He said that, but then when she cuts her promo in the ring, she said, "I'm the youngest, the oldest," like because she's the only champion right
Uh
now.
huh.
So I'm like, nah, that's funny. She said that too. Like it might be a little rib going on. So how old is Chelsea Green? Let's see. Let's get a age on Chelsea Green. 33. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, she a young pup, basically.
she. That's funny. He tried to say she's the oldest, but I knew why he tried to take that shot. But she's the only champion. You know what I'm saying? The inaugural champion. I thought it was fun that they gave her celebration. You know what I'm saying? What you thought about Mia Yim coming out with once again a new fit? Unless she rocked that fit, I thought.
I'm more intrigued in the possible dissension between Chelsea and Piper
Okay, I felt
because
like they was
Piper,
getting something there. Yup.
there are definitely a couple Easter eggs there because when in typical heel fashion, Chelsea leads off with there's one special lady I want to thank that got me this far, and you see Piper just popping the collar, getting ready, whatever, and to see her face change when Chelsea says, "I like to thank me."
Right. I caught that.
So maybe there. I mean, that'd be a fun one-on-one right there. If you have again, Piper's another one. She's very talented in the ring, bell to bell, and I'd love to see more work from her. As opposed to these
Do you
random
let
tag matches.
Piper? Do you let Piper take that from her?
You can see something like that.
Or maybe not on the first go, right? Maybe like Chelsea kind of has to like cheat to win, maybe.
Also, we still don't know if we're getting a draft or not either.
Mm.
Because as Michael Cole kept touching on, because also one thing we didn't quite mention just yet, we had an individual from Raw make an appearance on SmackDown, and Cole's still touching on this transfer portal window that they don't know when it's going to close.
How you
Or the
feel? Like I know we spoke on this, but now to just keep hearing it, I feel like I'm a rules kind of person when it comes to sports, and I know this isn't sports, but it's kind of close to it. I'm just a rules person, and just having this kind of like it opens that door for laziness a little bit. Like at any
yeah,
given
because there's no
moment.
continuity with anything. You're just saying just to say it now,
Hmm.
and it's the same folks that we would expect that would pop up if it was, say, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, Mania.
Yeah,
There's been nothing different about it, really.
on Raw. I mean, that's not even before the portal. That was that. I mean, that was before the portal. We have Randy on Raw
Yeah,
and all this stuff. So it's like, I mean, yeah. I don't know what's the intent behind this transfer portal. If there's like, if they're flirting to see how this person is getting a reception, being on this brand or being. But for the most part, like you said, I feel like we've seen these we've seen Sami Zayn on SmackDown. That's what the Bloodline stuff happened.
yeah.
I don't understand what's the intent right there behind that. But again, with the transfer portal, if they separate Pipe and Niven, would you want to see maybe the Chelsea Green and whoever wins the Intercontinental Women's Championship swapped? Or you think it's too soon to?
No, you keep those belts on Raw SmackDown as is. Um, Again, my thing is when Charlotte and Becky come back, it's obvious they would almost have to be on different shows. I would assume. If they're both on the same show, then you're asking a lot out of. Say Charlotte and Becky are both on Raw. You're asking every woman there that's not Rhea Ripley to pull double duty as far as their workload.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you have them on separate shows, it kind of levels up the playing field. Now, with that being said, I can see a world in which you have, in a perfect world, Becky on Raw and then Charlotte on SmackDown. Let's say you do a draft, you swap Becky and Charlotte immediately, but on top of that, you send Piper Niven to Raw. Uh, Maybe you call up someone from NXT to go to Raw as well. Maybe a Zarya, so you have Charlotte, Zarya, Rhea Ripley, Raquel, Piper, all in the same brand. So you have essentially both divisions are vastly different. You have more like the power women on one show, the speed, tactical, finesse women on the other. So there's some difference in quote unquote flavor between brands.
I could see that. And it looked like, I mean, with the whole spoiler of Becky Lynch on the Netflix trailer and things like that, it's looking like that's where Becky is gonna be heading. But I also don't rule out Raw getting Charlotte Flair either though, for some reason. I
If you
don't
get
rule it out.
if you get both, like I said, if you get both of them on the same show, on top, say they're both on Raw, you have them two. You have Rhea, you have Liv, you have Raquel, you have Nikki Cross, even Scarlett. That's not a bad roster right there.
Cause I got some theories. As there's a lot of theories that all tie in together, but it's more so because of Netflix, and I feel like they kind of like what we seen when Fox wanted all the huge superstars, and they got
Hmm.
Roman, gutted mostly everything from Raw, and only left them with, I mean, Bobby Lashley, damn near.
It was Bobby and Seth basically, and Drew.
Yeah, that's all they had. So I feel like the similar thing may be happening to SmackDown, but I feel like for SmackDown, it's a chance to build as to where like during that time Vince was still in charge, so there was like a lot of unknown going on with that situation. Right now with the new regime, I feel like okay, y'all might be able to expedite a lot of NXT talent. Like a lot of people could be expedited if ready. I mean, Tony D'Angelo spent some time down there. Wesley, there's a few people that's been down there. Ethan Page may be ready. I mean, he's no stranger to television.
I mean, but as far as if call NXT calls right now, on the men's side, I'd say honestly, aside from Fraxium and maybe an Obafemi, I don't think you can afford to call up anybody else because they're not ready.
That's what
Trick's not ready. Ethan's not ready. Tony D's not ready.
that's why NXT would still have to kind of work them out. And I think SmackDown too, it would have to be at that stage where it's like an understanding of kind of rebranding SmackDown. Also, like SmackDown need to have you remember how like Raw and SmackDown would have identities when Seth first had that belt, it was like the workhorse. Like, okay, this brand, this is what we're fighting now for the championship. Like SmackDown was
Right.
so I feel like SmackDown needs a new identity. It's time. Raw kind of need one too, but they're getting it with the whole Netflix move. That's like the identity we're waiting to see come January 6th. Boom. This is our identity going forward. I think SmackDown needs that same shift in energy. And Cody Rhodes, I think example. I'm gonna just shoot right now. I think he's gonna lose at the Royal Rumble. And now he already won that championship. Maybe he wants the Raw championship now. Or he may be forever intertwined with that one. But what
What
if
goes
with
on?
the trades, they could bring that championship to Raw?
Before we go down that road, I want to ask this serious question. Given the history of the last, let's say 6, 7 years, even, what is SmackDown's identity without the bloodline?
There hasn't been one except this
Exactly.
one, which we living in now.
Which
Post
I still,
bloodline.
think about it.
That's all I call it. Post bloodline.
But is it really post bloodline if you think about it? Because what are we getting January 6th? Tribal combat,
hmm
bloodline versus bloodline.
I
It's
mean, I don't think
we
it
are
was
not we
intended.
are not post bloodline yet.
I don't think it was intended to be this soon, but maybe so. But I feel like a lot of things like might have been expedited with the Roman coming back, the crowd chanting for Roman so much. I think if that don't happen, we might have seen a little like extension going on in terms of seeing these bloodlines going at it.
I kind of disagree. I think it was that was the Roman the wheel on Roman chance was always inevitable. It's just again I still stand by this. I think we had higher hopes for Cody's reign. Like maybe us as the fans of the quote unquote Cody crybabies, they all had Cody on this high pedestal to where once he's there, everything's all gonna fall in line just fine. It hasn't. Aside from Cody Rhodes, who could say they gave AJ Styles a bad match? Oh wait,
But then again, I'm put the indictment on the fans.
well
We
again,
don't.
I'm saying it's mostly our fault for agreeing with this because again, Triple H he wants to give the fans what they want. So yes, most of the fault has to fall on us, but also it's kind of on WWE as well because there's no credible heel to try to be that guy on the chase.
Oh, it's definitely
Kevin.
on them.
Yes, we have Kevin Owens now. Um, we all knew when Randy was coming back, he wasn't going to be a heel. If Randy Orton may never be a heel ever again, let's be honest. He's just too well loved. But again, Cody's one of those guys where he's very. It comes off as it's a very situational style to where it doesn't just gel with anybody because he tries to do what everyone else can do, and that doesn't always work in his favor.
And it's kind of what Cody's doing is kind of like to me, just what I interpret, he's playing like I've never really seen a baby face move like how he moves.
You know what this kind of comes off as? Is that those old TV shows where you see a kid playing in the sandbox, and a kid that's a stranger to him that he doesn't know comes in, plays in the sandbox, and now he's in the sandbox pouting like a little, like just crying.
Mm.
And the sandbox being the winged eagle title per se, and it's the same so much the winged eagle, but it's just Cody's run as a whole since the end of April after Mania. It's been flat entirely. You've had him go up against some of the best wrestlers that we've seen in the last 20 years, and the matches have been fine at best. And it's not the fault of the fans or WWE's booking that the only time when Cody some sort of pull a rabbit out of his ass is when Roman Reigns is breathing down his neck stating, I want my spot back. And Cody doing the whole, well, I need to be this era's John Cena. Well, guess what? There was a point in time where John Cena was hated just as much as he was loved. The problem is, are you okay with being hated?
Mm.
Because that's something that not everybody can thrive under. Rock managed to do it. Brock's managed to do it. Roman and Cena had managed to do it. Are you in that same category, Mr. Runnels?
I mean, I think he kind of did it in AEW though. To be honest, like it, it's territories he's already been in where like the
I think
crowd revolted against him, but maybe to your
Well,
point, a WWE fan base, can he handle that?
I think they just it's similar, but it's not the same time because it's one of those the fans turned to him because they wanted him in the ring. They didn't want to see him as a suit behind the scenes. And it instead of I hate you, it just became for lack of a term, well, fuck you, get out my face then type heat towards like they just didn't care. Which
Mhm.
again, that could have that Cody could use it to his advantage, but maybe with what he was witnessing going on behind the scenes, he's probably like, nah, I'm gonna go back over here.
Mhm. And for Cody, I don't know. It's just tough again. I never seen really a babyface champion, not even John Cena, not even Hulk Hogan, walk around in suits. That was something that the heel, from my memory, always did. Like I will always remember a Ric Flair walking around in expensive suits. Bobby Lashley in the Hurt Business,
Triple H,
Triple H
Batista,
Evolution. Yeah,
hell, even KO as U.S. champion. What he had to see back in the day.
I feel like Nick Aldis was the closest, but even there was something heelish about Nick Aldis and his NWA run to me a little bit.
Oh, he was most definitely a heel.
So like, yeah, again, the whole suit thing, it's just it's hard to, and I know what he says about the whole intimidation thing, and maybe that's the problem that a suit to it's intimidating or rip how he feels. So
Yeah, because
that's not
like
a
a tradition, when you wear a suit, you're supposed to have you feel some sort of power, some sort of authority, to where if you wear the suit and you rock it, in your mind, on an ego perspective, you are now above certain people because you are now looking the part of an authoritarian role.
mm-hmm. And that's not relatable to the everyday person or like even kid.
The
I feel
common
like
man, baby, as Dusty
yeah,
Rhodes would put it.
yeah. So it's tough with his character to go against like another heel. Or I can't even say another heel, but to go against a heel, and he kind of trying to run them down, but remain babyface. Like it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't feel John Cena esque. When John Cena did it, it was kind of like we knew he was a former rapper, so we can expect a few lines from him, few one liners. You know what I'm saying? But
Now, I feel the only way we may save this, which let's just get to that main event segment now. Something that Cody kind of like said, kind of stuck in my head a little bit. Setting up for this ladder match. It's a ladder match, correct?
yes, sir.
Might have been during this scene. Cody said, "Let's hang both belts above the ring."
Correct.
Now, two questions popped in my head. One, is this technically going to be another unification match? And if so, question two, we getting a new belt design already?
Now, now I was thinking two things, right? What if, because this always, we've seen it at Mania, but we've seen it with the tag team. What if only one belt is grabbed by a competitor and the other belt is grabbed by another competitor? Basically, like they're swapping the championships. But here's the only but: that Winged Eagle Championship is not an active championship. So Cody's just gonna be winning a retired belt.
But that leads to my second question. Like again, are like A and B, like are they going to be then unified? And if so, it's obvious that they're both going to try to reach for the Winged Eagle belt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are we just getting an outright new belt design, or are we retiring this belt that was given to Roman Reigns? Let people remind. Let's remind you people. This belt was awarded to Roman Reigns. This is Roman's belt. So if whether Cody's gonna be the
A
guy going into
commemorative
Mania,
championship. So he doesn't have to walk around with the other two active belts. Let's remind everyone
yeah,
the other two active belts are technically in that one championship. I know it sounds confusing, Go to WWE.com, go to titles, look at the championships there. You'll see what I mean.
Because if memory
So you have
serves,
to do.
this was given to Roman when he broke 1,000 days,
Yep.
some around that time.
Yep.
And then here we are, some odd years later, where we now see the return of the Winged Eagle. Are we going to put Roman's belt aside to be another Easter egg for Cody Roman 3? And are we going to reintroduce one of, if not the greatest belt design that WWE's ever had in the Winged Eagle? Can it be
I mean,
February
it's a
1st
lot.
already?
Yeah, it's a lot coursing through my head at the current moment. That's why I had to take a second to think. Like, I really do believe this is a chance. I thought it was very odd that the next match Cody's in doesn't involve having to get pinned. I think this is the very perfect time for some shenanigans, some interferences, some people to cost Cody the championship. If Kevin Owens got friends, this is the time for them to pop out. You know, if anybody
Also,
got something against Cody, now's your time. Like, come on.
so
Hello?
the match is February 1st. His last title defense was what, June, July?
Correct, yes, because in between that, he had the tag team match in Georgia. He had the
He had the
Gunther
crown jewel
match.
match
hmm And
because
the
he's
last
had
match,
three.
actually, the last
He,
match was defended at the Saturday Night Main Event. If you want to include that, but prior to
okay,
that,
so aside from that, the last three PLE matches, maybe even four PLE matches, were non-title matches that featured Cody Rhodes. That's my point.
yep. Again, this is a chance to. We've said that this storyline that's intertwined with The Rock, Roman, Cody. The only reason people want this championship involved is for the rubber match, the third match. But me personally, does the third match between them have to have the championship for it to matter? We've seen
Well,
Austin Rock go for the third time, and what did they third time was it for the belt? I can't remember at Mania.
even if Cody Roman 3 is going to come soon, I'm firmly of the belief that Roman Reigns will walk into that match and walk out of that match the champion. Because by then, Cody will have gone full heel, black hair included. I'm still calling that. And Roman will be the undisputed tribal chief. He will be the undisputed king. And he will walk in and out of that, whether it's at a Mania, whether it's at another one of the big three, big four, he will walk out champion.
There's a lot of ways that they could go with this too, because again, they can have Cody Rhodes theoretically go into the Royal Rumble opening match against Kevin Owens, lose, and then walk into the Royal Rumble match later on in the night, tease that he can potentially be the first to win back to back to back Royal Rumbles. And Roman Reigns throws his ass out
I just got a
and says,
crazy ass idea right now.
nah.
I got a bigger nut. You ready for this one? So again, same deal. Say Cody loses in a squash match or something like that. Sub 10 minutes. We don't get Cody Rhodes. We get Stardust. But we get a very different Stardust. Now, Cody's a big comic and movie buff. You're familiar with Lord of the Rings, right, HD?
Not so much.
Okay, so there was a certain character named Gollum, formerly a Smeagol, to where initially, as the lore goes, when the Ring of Power is in his possession, he becomes overwhelmed and enthralled with the ring, to where he then calls it "my precious." And when the ring is away from him, he becomes so enthralled with hatred, anger, to where it changes him physically. So very similar to how like the Fiend has changed, or that spirit has changed Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt over the years. We may see something similar with Cody Rhodes and Stardust, to where he'll have the Stardust garb on. We'll see the black hair. we may see more black under the eyes of Cody, but we'll see a darker souled Cody, to where without the championship around his waist, he feels empty inside. Like he can't physically live without the gold. And Roman will have more of the I guess the knight shining armor method, in which he'll be like, I've been there, but I learned to not let the power control me, because and he'll probably reference Ulafala saying that power cost me my family before. I have now learned that I am nothing without the family. But we shall see how that story goes. But like we said before, there's many ways they can go about it. But all in all, I'm just surprised that Cody's had the belt this long.
Cody Rhodes win this match against Kevin Owens. This run, I don't want to compare it there, but it might be
Go
just
there.
as it just might be as difficult as when people were saying they had to put over the Fiend.
I thought you were gonna go the Jinder Mahal route, to be honest.
Nah, the reason I say that, this is gonna be the second match in which Cody Rhodes doesn't have to get pinned, and they let him walk out of there unscathed, without even a scare of losing the championship. It can't be. It can't be. Last man standing against, or what? No, it was the I Quit match against
AJ.
AJ, and now the ladder match. I'm not gonna lie, I love Cody Rhodes, but the notion that like any match he could win, any competitor he can beat, I don't know why they doing this. I don't know. Like,
If he took 8 more losses, and these matches might be more believable, but
bro, what match hasn't this man been in? He's been in the Hell in a Cell with a torn pec. He's been in a cage match. He's been in a fucking the other shits we just mentioned. I Quit. Now a ladder match, like a Royal Rumble match, bro. The last day, I don't even know if he's been in the Last Man Standing match, but I feel like he has. He's been put in Tribal Combat, a new match. Like,
or the bloodline. He's been in 2 bloodline rules matches.
yeah, I said Tribal
Undefeated,
Combat. Excuse me.
undefeated in bloodline rules. He's 2-0.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, I don't. His move set is not dominant to me for this to be happening. I'm just like, if they could make it look convincing, if his mic works, something was just like killer mentality, then I could get behind it. But that I don't know. It's just not.
So who's screwing him over to give KO the win? Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, or The Rock?
You said Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, or The Rock. What if I go down this route? Sammy Uso. What if? Remember, you said you wasn't sold on Sammy. What if? Because I've been feeling this way too, that Kevin and Sammy, before Sami Zayn showed up on SmackDown, remember when we was having this theory about who's gonna be the 5th man for the War Games, I keep floating with this Kevin Owens shit, right? As being hired gun and all this extra shit. So now that time is unfolded, we see what's going on. Kevin Owens about to go right now. Then Sami Zayn's on SmackDown. So I think it's more likely they eventually cross paths. Okay, that's one point. That's case one. Case two, Roman Reigns hasn't been around while Drew McIntyre's been beating on his family. Sami Zayn, we haven't seen nobody's reaction towards, yo, where Roman at? Why is he not, like, why is he just all good on his island again? More pointing towards your theory as to, and what I've been saying too, Roman only knows his ways. He's stuck by himself, not caring that Drew McIntyre beating up on Sami Zayn, beating up on Jey Uso, took out a hurt Jimmy Uso. Like, Jimmy Uso had to come back hurt to put the beats on Drew Mac. What if Sami Zayn helps Kevin Owens win and cost Cody Rhodes?
That all depends on what follows up with what goes on Raw, because on Raw, Jay told Sammy, if you can't beat Drew, I got next. So
Correct.
I think the way Jay handles that, and the way with whatever we get out of Raw on Netflix the following Monday, that could determine any possible validity in your theory.
Yeah, because now we're gonna actually hopefully see, maybe not all at the same time, maybe so. We should be seeing Drew, Sammy, Jay, Roman, all on Raw solo. Maybe
Because
they all
they're all
share
gonna
some kind of moment.
they're all gonna be there on Netflix January 6th.
Do we have a chain of events? I'm sorry to jump ahead, chat. I know we kind of skipped the match. Shout out to the Street Profits. We're gonna get to them in a second. There's a quick blow by for them anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, do we have a chain of events? But I mean, like, does the events of the whole night lead into each other? Like, obviously, we're gonna get Seth Rollins and CM Punk at the end of the night. Does whatever Drew McIntyre does to like, does Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn happen at that Raw also? Like, I feel like it's a chain of events happening. Like, we're gonna have tribal combat before Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Seth and Drew kind of got common enemies right now. This thing's there. CM Punk is owed this favor with Paul Heyman. Do we see Paul Heyman at the side of CM Punk that he like? It's a lot that I'm
Where's The
wondering.
Rock?
Correct. He's also scheduled to be there.
Where do Roman and Jey Uso stand amongst each other? Are they now equals, or is Roman still feel that he's above him?
Bro, I think Ron, it's gonna be like we talking about continuity. If what my mind is cooking up, I don't think we've ever seen that in wrestling, bro. Or we might have, but it might have been some time where the whole night one thing is leading into the other, or has to do with the other. I think the only exception may be the women's match, Liv and Rhea. But everything else looked like it can tie into the bloodline and that whole Raw
Well, I'm not too
episode.
sold on that match either, to be honest. I've had time to think about it.
They made that a last woman standing match. I read they changed the stipulations on that. I read.
Well,
I
that's
don't know how.
confirmed.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, we got
I,
some.
I didn't know that was, I didn't know that was confirmed or not.
I didn't. No, I'm not saying it's confirmed. That's just what I read. That they put in a stipulation on that match. They put a last woman standing on that. I read that earlier before we got on. So I don't know about like that match per se, but I think everything else could tie in. Um.
Well, on
Oh
that
yeah.
last
So
woman standing, who would you have in that one?
Say
I
that.
think now that it's last woman standing, I think that changes everything.
Yeah. So according to SE Scoops, sportsentertainmentscoops.com, that's where I read this update here.
Okay, I saw something about it on Twitter, but I wasn't sure if that was a proposed idea or if it's been confirmed or not. But if that's the confirmed stipulation, then I hate to say it, but I got mommy taking a L.
I mean, that's how I had it booked too. Once I found out it was last woman standing, I don't. I mean, it's hard to ignore the 2-on-1. Like they can't look me in my eye and
Well,
tell me it's not 2-on-1. And then if you want to add dominant 2.5 or 3-on-1, like Rhea's still outmatched. And put a stipulation on it. I'll be surprised if she. You know what? I'll be surprised if she lays out Liv and lays out Raquel, drags Raquel on top of Liv so she can't get up. Like she basically buries Liv underneath Raquel. That would have
I'll
to
do
happen.
I'll do even better. She'll drop Liv. She'll drop Dom on top of Liv, and she'll drop Raquel in a separate pile.
Yeah, because
But
it would have to.
they'll likely have Rhea triumph over everybody. But honestly, I think you get more mileage in Liv winning to set up a rematch with Becky, or to set up what I would assume would be a highly coveted 1v1 versus Charlotte. But we'll see what they do. But honestly, like I think lives up on Rhea like 2-1 to 3-1, anyways. If I'm not mistaken.
Even if even if she wasn't, it feels like that. But I'm pretty sure she is. Even if she wasn't, it does feel like she has the advantage in this. Got the wins. That's why I think like they would have to really make Rhea look dominant again for me to accept the win. So
She'd have to be dominant on to the likes of 2010 Cena versus the Nexus at SummerSlam levels of dominant.
yeah,
But which again, she's more capable. It's just I just feel there'd be more mileage in Liv taking the win and maybe Rhea winning the Rumble or Elimination Chamber, one of the two.
but let's not get we gonna get into most of those things in the sidebar. Let's get back to the rest of SmackDown so we can get into those sidebars. What you think about the whole little tag team, if we could call that a tag team scene? Pretty deadly. Basically lying to the Street Profits.
The backstage stuff I enjoyed. Um,
Oh, I love the camera work. Like I didn't enjoy the Street Profits getting pump fake like that. I did enjoy the camera work, them
I will say
following.
the stuff from Pretty Deadly lying, stating that it was Garza and Umberto that jumped him, and Street Profits catch coming in. That part I enjoyed. Everything else, match included, I thought was dumb.
The reception that the Profits got at the end, I love that for them. Them having to get put in that match because of basically like I think those are the good people to for the Profits to have a good fresh matchup against. They did good with that. But again, they had to fall for Pretty Deadly's antics. They made me look like fools again, but they got a warm reception from the crowd. It was good in the ring. I want to see great things for the Profits. I'm be honest, to me, none of them tag teams is touching them. They good, they great, but so are the Profits. That's just how straight up. And then now you add B-Fab to them. I feel like they're really she's
BFAB,
adding, yeah.
she's growing on me.
Yeah, she's adding that thing.
At first I was very uncertain and I was skeptical. I'll be honest. Like, and when it first started, I was like, "Why is this a thing?" But little by little, yeah, it's been about a month since we've seen them. Beef has been a lot more active on Twitter, and she's become more of a refreshing asset to the group.
Yeah, she has, and I like how she's
Even
also.
Electra Lopez with Legado de Fantasma. Again, we're seeing more and more of them, which is making me want to see them more. Again, it's a whole new layer, it's added features. It's refreshing to see both of them get more active.
And she could fill
And
that void for them too. Well, not really a void, but that talking gap. Like, once you hear Montez say something, Dawkins, automatically just jumps in and says her piece too. Like, it
there's
works.
solid harmony between the three of them.
hmm Rather than when it was just Hawkins and Montez, like it was like the profits are up and we want the smoke, but it was still something missing. You know what I'm saying? Now they got that extra spice. So I'm really liking what they got going on. But I just don't like the chicanery of making them look foolish. It made Pretty Deadly look more smart, and it looked like they're positioning them maybe not to get a championship, but they getting looks right now out of nowhere instead of just earning it. They getting the good
Who
old
down the
Weezy.
mountain, was it, Cedric or
Yeah,
Apollo?
Apollo. Excuse me. Yeah, which that was
That's
even
where
cool.
that's where I
Yeah,
felt like it just lost her from there. It's like,
and it
this is
happened
what we
after the
used Apollo
match.
for.
And then I think it was Corey Graves that mentioned it. Why would you tell him after the match? Like
And
you
how
just
you gonna
let these
tell him
brothers.
I saw the whole thing?
Yeah,
Your boss has been having an investigation for the last month, and I can be like, "Oh, I saw the whole thing."
man. What you think about the next match? Carmelo Hayes and Sami Zayn.
I thought the match was fine. I was more impressed with the backstage stuff because, again, we're seeing a new side of Sami Zayn to where he ain't afraid to bow up to anybody. And this is a trait to where I feel has been missing with Sami's character for a while.
I was
And
kind of
I'll
surprised. I'm gonna tell you
go ahead.
why. The involvement of the bloodline, since this was kind of like a and SmackDown, I was like, bro, I wasn't even thinking about the bloodline no more, to be honest. I was just like,
There have been no mention about the whole show except for the Sammy stuff.
which again would have been good had this been a bang of a SmackDown, kind of make you forget Rocky to sleep. Oh, there's no bloodline tonight, and then boom. But it wasn't even the roller coaster of a ride. It was kind of stagnant. It was just like a train ride, if anything. It's going one direction
The
with
match
it.
was fun. They're both very talented. It's just the backstage is where it shined the most. I kind of love
Oh
the
no, I
thought
thought the
where
match was cool. I'm just saying the whole night in general. It's the whole night. It's the feel of the night. But yeah, the match was cool for
what
me.
what I did find interesting in the post match stuff was, as well, we see Braun try to put the pause on Mello. We see Sammy getting jumped by the Bloodline. Then we hear KO's music. A part of me kind of thought KO was going to lay out Sammy right then and there because a couple weeks ago, before Stats Man event, he had teased, "Sammy, I seen what you've been doing. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna come see you real soon." I thought we were gonna get that now.
Mm.
However,
I
we
was
didn't.
um I was surprised. I know Braun Strowman and Carmelo Hayes got their thing going on, but that's not who Braun Strowman went out there to interact with. He was out there brawling with the bloodline.
That stare down between Braun and Jacob.
I'm not gonna lie, I needed that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Because
something I didn't know
it's
I
one of
needed.
those, we had fantasized about it for a while. We got the little sneak preview today, and Michael Cole could not have said it better. The monster has met the werewolf.
Bro, I don't know what Braun Strowman did, bro. I don't know what he went to the back, did a few push-ups, what, but he came back looking
He was
jacked.
yoked.
bro. I'm like, I don't like this man was. We just seen him in the match earlier, bro. Like, and he looked big in that match, sure, but he's just, like, bro, he threw the
He
little
listened to
shirt
that
up.
Drake bar, drop it, give me 50.
Right, dude got
He was.
swole real fast. Cause that's the first time I seen somebody make Jacob look small, and Jacob's no small fella.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, that's. I mean, again, the way that they had to take out Braun Strowman was dope too, though. Like it felt like almost like a superhero esque, a comic book esque team up. Like you see Tom go for the leg,
Mhm.
Jacob immediately, not even take no time, no, he didn't miss a beat. Immediately goes for the super kick. Then Solo comes and grabs him for the spike, neutralize the big man immediately. I like how they did that swift like that instead of like playing in and doing all of the taunts and all of this. You know what I'm saying? They really went to work on Braun Strowman.
And like
So
Cole
I'm
was
interested to
saying,
see more from that. Like,
like Cole was saying, this is a direct message to the OCT, further setting up the Tribal Combat January 6th. Solo is out for blood.
yeah, he did scream that out. And like you said, we got the Kevin Owens music hit. It was a bunch of madness out there. Like, but then it kind of sets us up. We get the Netflix screen, the go away, the little transition screen. Then it takes us into the final segment of the night, man. What you I mean, I know we spoke about it, but what you feel about like I got thoughts on I wish I had a picture of Kevin Owens here with the championship, but seeing it in 2024, I didn't like how the winged eagle was sitting off the strap. Like to me, the championship being like you don't really see the plate come off of the strap right here on this one. I don't know if you noticed it tonight on Kevin Owens Winged Eagle Championship, where like
Maybe Kevin broke the replica already. Who knows?
that's what I was thinking, to be honest.
I
Like,
mean, you saw how Bounce and Triple H yanked it out of his hand at Saturday Man event.
yeah, I was like they need to get this man the real thing, man. Come on, quit being cheap. It's
But
only one of them things. Get that man the thing, man.
again, but like we touched earlier, like, I'm more intrigued as to how much more physical Nick Aldis has been getting.
That's what I was surprised at too. Like again, we could skip past all the talking they did. We already discussed that. We get into when they're about to wrap up. Kevin Owens pushes Nick Aldis into Cody. What I found interesting was, I don't know if to make it look good, you kind of see Nick Aldis bring his arm up, like bring his forearm up, and kind
Yeah,
of whack
he
him.
gave him a little shoulder or something.
Mm-hmm.
He gave him a little something. But also, what was interesting was, Cody, where's your neck brace?
Yeah, no selling. I
That was
mean,
observation number one. Like, you've worn it everywhere else. Why aren't you wearing it now?
I felt like he was. I don't know. I felt like him walking funny was his way of selling. But correct, yeah, he just popped out like nothing.
Like, you sell it once you get a shoved, but why weren't you wearing the brace to begin with?
I
Oh, wait a
mean,
minute. His hero John Cena wouldn't have worn a neck brace, huh?
was the hand signals for nothing to get people talking? The little hand sign he threw up upon receiving the package pile driver? Or is that still in reference for Cero Miedo?
I think that was just pure coincidence on the camera shot, or maybe he was trying to flip someone off and didn't quite get up. I don't know. That's
You
just pure
see,
coincidence.
Stevie Richards has spoke about it. He said he felt he liked that selling from it because he felt like that's what happens when you get concussed on a football field.
I mean, yeah, when you get knocked out, the nerves might get locked up, whatever. That part is true, but again, if you're selling an injury, why not have the key component, which would have been the neck brace?
Correct.
I mean, they started the show with you being carried off on a stretcher. with the neck brace.
I mean, I think that's it's not too much of an issue, but there's one thing I never understood when WWE give actual medical updates, but they're in story. Like I don't want to know that his neck got injured or whatever, his cervical, this part of his spine, all this extra shit, and then you
What
come
I
out
want to know is
regular.
how come NXT can say hospital, but Michael Cole can't say hospital.
I mean,
Big Joseph could say it was stopping Cole.
it is. I mean,
Booker
you
T
ain't
could
wrong.
say it. Why can't Joe Tessitore Wade bear the graves?
And I guess NXT is the test run where anything happens.
I guess. I mean, they got HBK getting a little active on NXT these days. No one thought they'd see that ever again.
What is this gonna be? Kevin Owens versus Cody 3, right? This is another reason why I was saying what I was saying earlier, but I didn't get to make that point. Kevin Owens to me cannot lose this match, man.
Oh, he
I don't.
cannot. He
Bro,
he
he
has to
can't.
win this match.
If he loses this match, any credibility going forward for him in the heavyweight championship scene, I'm just gonna look at him like you're not one of the ones.
Right.
You're not one of the ones, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Even
can't.
if even if say Randy comes in for the save of that match, like either way, Kevin has to win.
Bro, it's almost like Mick Foley not. It's almost like Mankind challenging for the championship. You almost always knew he wasn't gonna win. Then he won one time. Wow, but then after that, what happened? Like, you know what I'm saying? It feels like that, bro. It feels like anytime like a main eventer was always in the championship but never won. That's what Kevin Owens feel like to me.
Yeah.
Yes, you won the Universal when it was red. You ain't even win the black one, the blue one. I don't remember that. Like
Even
anybody
then,
that won anybody
even
that
then,
won the
he lost to the
championship when it was
Goldberg.
red. Yeah, bro. Anybody that won that red championship, don't even consider that shit a win right now. Like I mean, if you were historic and you got the Randy Orton title reigns behind your name, 14, whatever, you could add them. If you only got one of them things, I wouldn't even really like. I wouldn't like. I hunger for more, baby. Yeah, I got it, but I don't got it though. If that makes sense. Like you could tell me I got it, but in my mind, I don't got it. Like that was years ago.
Yep.
That was a whole young kid's lifetime ago. There was a kid that's watching this product now that wasn't even alive when I won a championship. Like that's like
And can you believe he's already been WWE for 10 years?
more than that too, right? Well, nah, it's probably just made 10 now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 14. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like that's wild. Finn Balor, the same thing. Like at
Yeah.
least Finn Balor still got some cool factor to him though with that whole like shit he got going. He fashionable. He wear that mask to the ring. Like the coolest shit Kevin Owens got going is that he changed the color of his sneakers.
But also look at with Kevin Owens. Aside from the last name, it's the same gimmick he's had for over 20 years.
This is what I'm saying, bro.
And with Finn, I'm very curious to see what would have happened had he never had to get that shoulder reconstruction surgery after he beat Seth at SummerSlam
And
when he
then
was
for
the
me,
inaugural Universal Champion.
he would have probably been on greatness time and no funny shit. He would have probably been on greatness. But it didn't work out like that for him. So I mean Dolph Ziggler, another one. After a while, yeah, he was a world heavyweight champion around that time. They kept putting him in positions. We expected him to lose. We knew.
Or was it Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder? They famously went a year and a half without winning a match, and then they won the tag titles at WrestleMania.
Crazy. Like there is turnaround. You could turn around, but
Look at the prime example, Chelsea Green.
it's just Kevin Owens has been positioned as a heavyweight. Like I feel like they've never really kept him in that mid card scene. Like he, yeah, he's held the U.S. belt, but I don't really consider his U.S. run except for one when he was with Cena, and that almost lines up around that Universal time.
I'll even take the second reign. But did he have the U.S. belt or Universal belt when he headbutt Vince?
Yep, it
That's
was the
when
second one.
that's when I thought that okay, they're gonna do something because of the fact that no one puts their hands on Vince really,
You know what's
and
sad?
he drew blood.
I could be wrong. Kevin Owens had the Universal Championship. Jericho was carrying him. Cause in my opinion, that whole you just made the list, that was making their shit money.
Oh,
Jericho was the money in that shit. At that time, I'm not saying Kevin Owens was wow. I'm just saying they both had a belt. Jericho had the US belt and Kevin Owens had the Universal belt. They were supposed to fight at Mania for the Universal one.
mm-hmm.
Then shit happened. Kevin Owens drops it to Goldberg, like you said. And then Jericho got to do the job to KO.
And then goes on to New Japan and then to AEW.
But yeah, Kevin Owens right there in that run, he kind of like ain't really like, you know what I'm saying?
And it makes you wonder like what the hell went wrong.
I don't know. I mean, Jericho stole the spotlight. He ain't have a chance to really like, in my opinion, he didn't really have a chance to recapture that magic he had when he came up from NXT and was going against Cena. That was a special time.
That was special, but also you can't deny that the stuff with KO and Jericho like that wasn't money. Like
That
that
was
stuff.
money, bro.
I was surprised it ended as abruptly as it did.
Fucking
That I was
Jericho's
surprised
a
with that,
fucking dweeb. That's why.
and then I was surprised how quick Y2 AJ split it because that could have been something maybe. But you pissed that away in 2 weeks because Vince got bored of it, or someone got bored of it.
I think Jericho just wanted too much control. Like little silly shit. Like to me, this is silly shit. Y'all not fighting over the Universal Championship at WrestleMania and shit like that. Part of the reason you left and you not wanting to play the greatest hits. It wasn't even the greatest hit. You just came out with the list. You just did that. That's not even the greatest. That's not even the greatest hit. He acting like they wanted him to play the greatest. You just did that. You just started that. You just want to be doing new shit, and I get it. You feel like you at that time of your career where, like, I always felt like he did some new shit though when he went to WWE. The only thing that remained the same was his entrance, low key.
Here's why it worked so much better in WWE. He took time off.
Yeah, bro. I remember this man came back one time and didn't even say nothing. The dude just went out to the ring, smiled, and trolled us and left.
Yeah,
We ain't
where he
know.
first
We ain't
rocked
know.
the suit.
Yeah, we ain't. Yeah, we ain't know if we should back to the suit game. We ain't know if we should cheer him or boo him. And motherfucker was trolling us.
So he'll pull the mic up, smirk, get a cheer, pull the mic away, boo, cheer, boo.
Get out of there on us, like, like, bro, come on, bro. Jericho is money. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. There's certain people that got it. Certain people that's willing to change their gimmick, even within staying in the parameters. Like, fucking Jericho, dead ass cut his hair, bro. He went and got tattoos. He grew a beard. He
Look at
did, man.
Sami Zayn. Grew his beard out, grew his hair out.
Yeah. Within staying in the parameters of Sami Zayn. Like, I'm still the underdog, but yeah, I look a little different.
To a degree, look at both Usos.
Yeah, like they still the Usos. Motherfuckers just ain't wearing face paint. They ain't got
I
the
mean, I
long
mean, I,
hair.
I mean, I mean, now we can tell them apart.
Yeah, but they not straying away from them either though. They still like gangster Hawaiian niggas, like cultured people. Like they like to have fun, listen to
The
hip
many
hop,
stages of the
drink.
Rock.
Feel me? Like it's a lot. Like a lot of people, even the Rock, right? The Rock, you mentioned the Rock. He changed without changing his fucking
From
appearance. He
Rocky
added a tattoo.
Maivia to the Nation of Domination
Oh
to
yeah, if you want to dig in the
Corporate
bag, oh
Ministry
yeah, yeah, he
to
definitely
Rock and
switched it up.
Sock to Hollywood Rock.
Them thick ass sideburns. He made them shits look cool. You the only person that can rock them sideburns like that, like somebody like The Rock. Them shit,
That
man.
fast forward 25 years later now to the final boss. Hell,
Yeah, bro.
even Triple H from terrorizing in WCW to the Connecticut Blue Blood, Hunter Hearst Helmsley to the Gang to the Cerebral Assassin, the King of
Nah,
Kings to the COO.
my favorite one when he had the love handle stash. When he had that thick ass mustache and then the sideburns that connected with it. I'm like, nah, he doing the most right now. And that shit was blonde too though. It wasn't even like you could tell he was rocking his natural hair color. Like
Well, wasn't that a tribute to Lemmy?
it might have been, yeah. Facts. Yup, that's right. Dude that made Triple H's song. Yes, sir.
And then, do you remember the awkward phase where he just had not the tights but just trunks?
What you mean? Who Trip? You said that
Yeah,
he had just trunks or the
yeah,
tights? What you mean?
or like the biker shorts or like the little spandex
Oh
pants
yeah, yeah,
under
yeah,
his
yeah.
trunks.
Like yeah. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. He had like yeah. I don't even know who ever wore that shit. That's like some real MMA. But yeah, I don't know why he did that. I always thought his outfit from when he was in DX was tough. That it looked kind of metallic, and it had the Triple H on the front trunks and on the back trunks. But it'd be like a two-tone tights thing going on.
For me, the all time hero has got to be when he came back that one year where he had the leather jacket with the denim vest over the jacket,
Bro, I wish he wrestled like that all the time. Like
the
that,
jacket that
yeah.
MJF tried to emulate.
Just know that look right there was so iconic. Motherfuckers made toys out that shit. In the game, you could fight with that shit. Like,
Hmm.
did he even ever have a match with that shit on? I know he had a match with jeans on.
Yeah, that was the Street Fighter, or the Three Stages of Hell, I think, with Shawn
Yeah, him
Michaels.
and Sean, yup. But like, imagine like, yeah, that's tough right there. But that bike at Triple H was mean right there. That's another one, like you said, switched up. I mean, look at the Big Red Machine, Kane.
The different masks, the different gear, the hair, the no hair,
One eye contact white.
the See No Evil cane. May
Right.
19th.
Like, I don't know. So I think a lot of these talents just be on autopilot. They the scared, like they play the greatest hits in fear of losing their. I don't know what it is, but I like listening to a lot of interviews from older people. Not to say older, but like the past generation talent. They made whatever work. If fucking the WWE told you to be Doink the Clown, they was gonna be the best Doink the Clown out there. If they told you to be Duke the Dumpster Drowse, whatever his name was, they was being the dumpster man of their lifetime.
I mean,
Like
shit.
they did the job.
Allegedly, Ric Flair never wore the same suit twice.
You feel me? And that's another right. Like some people betted on themselves early. Like WWF couldn't keep Ric Flair. Like he was man. He was a made name before he went over to WWF. It was like, all right, well, y'all not trying to pay me. I'll go back to WCW then. You ain't gonna get this um dream matchup with me and so and so. You might get me and Hogan at this, whatever. But you're not getting everybody else. You're not getting Flair and Steamboat 3 at, you know what I'm saying? Like, kept that shit in the other circuits. Smart man, made men.
Or if he stays retired after the loss of Shawn Michaels, we never get that legendary back and forth with him and Jay Lethal in TNA.
Again, this is why I love listening to Stevie Richards, because I feel like maybe it's gonna sound trash what I'm about to say, but maybe if I was a professional wrestler, maybe I'd be like Stevie Richards, because I feel like his wavelength of thinking is right along the lines of how I think. And he was mentioning that on a prior episode, I think it was uploaded last week. How he said how like how wrestlers messed up the game right now. And he's just basically saying like Ricky Starks too, right? Like this should be the time Ricky should be kind of reinventing himself. And I kind of agree. Yeah, they not using you. So what? What you gonna fucking do about it? You kind of like presenting yourself as the same. You know, you're
Well,
doing interviews. You're gonna still be like,
I,
what's
I,
his
I
name over there? Ricky. But like, what's his
he's always, even in MLW, he's always been absolute Ricky Starks.
absolute? There we go. Thank you. I've been
But
trying to say
I
his
think that
mantra.
thing that stuff is much like with Miro, Feast, and one of those. That's just this one rare occasion to where Tony's just too much like Vince, and I think because Starks has been on the show for so long that maybe a reinvention could possibly be too detrimental to his character role and his stock overall.
It may, but I feel like you see like a Jade Cargill, she's like an example of what people in the game should probably be doing.
I mean, she hasn't changed anything really.
Right, but she went in with I feel like she went into AEW accepting nothing less than greatness.
Well, yeah, because again, Tony paid her the money, and then she realized that she wanted to actually learn, so that's why she likely left. And again, hopefully her injury isn't too severe. But as far as with Starks, it's like folks may not realize that this man's been in the game for well over 10, 15 years. And he knows what he's capable of doing, but his current employer feels otherwise for
Do you
whatever
think
reason.
do you think there's a
Now,
learning curve
I don't
or
see
is it
how it would be.
opportunity curve?
Again, I think it's one of those things where Tony is about as petty as most wrestlers. So, in his mind, the way he sees it, if you're friends with Cody and possibly Punk, you are now public enemy number one. I mean, look at. I know we joke with them quite a bit, but look at FTR for example. They were known Punk guys, and then look what's happened to them in the last couple years.
Mm.
And there's other folks in on that show that have suffered because they're friends with certain folks in WWE, and it shouldn't be that way because yet here we are. I mean, I'm not sure if you heard caught recently, but now they're more lenient with the name John Moxley amongst the WWE airways because his name's been
Mm-hmm.
dropped a couple times. Jericho's been name dropped a couple times. Now the AEW accolades may not be acknowledged just yet,
I
but
mean, hell, WWE even uploaded on their vote the story of Taz and Sabu, which I thought
hmm
was interesting.
yeah.
Again, like you said,
So,
they're not afraid to show. Okay, we're aware. We're not hiding history.
but in AEW, in their mind, they're still stuck on. Well, that's still Vince's show. Which, let's be honest, we're 8 months deep from all that, and maybe even a fair 9 or 10. That couldn't be any further from the truth. Let's just call a spade a spade. Because if Vince was still in charge, Cody would have lost the belt a long time ago. Gunther probably would have lost the belt as well. Honestly, LNAT would probably be world heavyweight champion. and Roman Reigns would probably have passed Hulk Hogan's record by now. Let's see, there'd be no female U.S. and IC championships if Vince was still in charge. The women's tag belts probably would have been tanked by now. And that's just for the main roster. Hell, for all we know, John Cena would be doing more than 40 dates and he'd be going into Netflix as champion. Because Vince said so, pal.
I think it's something like we touched on earlier. It's just a new adjustment period for everybody. You know, whether you want to like it or not, whether you're already enjoying it or not. It's a new adjustment period. Like you said, AEW still stuck on the fact that WWE's running behind this regime. No, they're not. They moved along. So should they. Everybody should move along. Like it's crazy the things that's going on. We got Omos in Japan now. The things that can do for him when he comes back to WWE. Like, what if he comes back with his own faction from Japan?
Again, I would love to see Yoshitatsu and Daga in WWE.
Again, Yoshitatsu, formerly employed by WWE. Kids may not remember, but it won't be unfamiliar territories for Yoshi to do business with
I mean,
them.
he's got a drastically different gimmick now, but
That's the lovely part about it. So much time removed. This the one instance where it's okay if they don't remember. It could be presented a new way. Kind of similar. I mean, but they dropped the ball. But what was supposed to happen with Lord Tensai? Like he was a hit out in Japan, and had he been done properly, maybe he could have, or just maybe put him back as Albert. Who knows? But at that time, he was cooking, and they
and
tried to bring
I
him
think
back.
in Tenzon's case, he was already on the back end of his career, so maybe could have been already transitioning into be a backstage role, much like Regal at the time. But with guys like Yoshitatsu, he came in at guys like him, Rene Dupree, Rob Conway. They came in a very awkward part of WWE,
Oh hell yeah! That I mean, I'm not gonna lie. They came in that weird, funky. We're gonna
and
use
and
you as a countryman kind of vibe.
and had guys like, or even someone who's very popular in AAA form of TNA, a gentleman named Judas Messias.
That name sounds
Big,
so familiar.
yeah, he had a solid little run in TNA for a little bit, and it was working for him. It was a role similar to like a Kevin Thorne or Mordecai Undertaker esque character, and could move like most cruiserweight or exhibition guys, and just now he's still having a strong career in Mexico, but he's another one. Guys like had guys like him, Rene Dupree, Yoshitatsu come in and this current regime in WWE, and you can even make a case for even guys like Akira Tozawa and Kenta nowadays. Like if they came in this current regime, I promise you, Tozawa would not be a comedy act.
I mean, he should
Because
still not be. I mean, what I remember Cesaro, he was cooking up in the 205 in the cruiserweight classics and all that. I don't know how he got slipped into this whole little like foolery. To be
now
honest,
again, maybe he's gotten comfortable. Who knows what it could be?
I think it might have been that 24/7 title run. That's when it really started. I started seeing weird stuff when they had him dressing like a little ninja and all this. Like I don't know, it was crazy.
Was it him and Titus that were ninjas or something like that, or him and Omos? One of them two.
They might have been Titus.
I just remember a
Oh, it could have been
tall.
Omos. Yeah.
I just remember a tall son bitch.
And they kept Tozawa in that shit for a minute. Kept coming out with the black ninja shit, you know what I'm saying?
What was it? I think speaking of them, this coming Raw, I think we're finally getting the blow off between Otis and Gable.
Who cares? It's not on January 6th. It don't even matter. It's gonna be, you know why I say that? This is the last SmackDown of the year. Last Raw before SmackDown ain't gonna be any better.
The final Raw on the USA Network.
The best thing that's gonna happen on there is Drew McIntyre gonna attack Jey Uso. That's
just
the
to
best thing.
just to add a little fire for Netflix. Do we hear the drums of war from the OTC's music?
I don't know, but I ain't gonna lie. He need to go back to his other song. He need to, yeah, they really try to do the same. They try to capture the same. You know what I mean? Lighting in the bottom of the box
Like I
shit.
said, the opening drums were fine, but again, I agree. His older song was it suited him better.
And it's, you know what it is for me, bro. I'm gonna be honest. You know how Hulk Hogan got the when it comes crashing down and it
Yeah, the Rick
hurts. It's
Derringer song.
bro, that's years of that. That's year. Every time that song plays, we got a little flash memory bank going on in our brain that's kicking every best Hogan moment. Now, when I hear that Roman song, the one that's playing now, nothing happened yet.
Right.
Nothing happened. Ah, ah, ah. Like nothing happened yet. We ain't defeating nothing. We ain't capturing nothing. Like
What if Roman
we ain't
never dropped?
apologized. Ain't nothing like ain't nothing, nothing happened. Like
What if Roman never dropped the Shield song?
I think motherfuckers would have hated that shit.
Yet they
But
cheered it. Yet they cheered it when Seth busted it out.
yeah, I was about to say that. But that's the only thing too though that there's a lot of connection with that music. Like that again, when I just explain music and what it does.
And that's one of those songs too where honestly, I don't think it will be appreciated respectfully unless you know who's back in WWE.
Mm.
Unless he comes back, that song may as well be meaningless because those three men essentially carried WWE out of a very, very dark period of time.
And that's the next time we should hear that song. If that ever happens. Like maybe Seth one more time teasing, but like outside of that, no more teasing.
It should
That
only
has
be
yeah.
if John Moxley, Dean Ambrose is back in World Wrestling Entertainment. That'd be the only reason to bring that song back. Or hell, should he decide to come back? I mean, now his song was pretty good, but what if he solely has the Shield song? Because again, with him feeling betrayed by Seth, his somewhat allegiance still to Roman Reigns, the Shield song or the Shield memory could be all that he knows, all that he holds dear to him,
Mm.
and that'd be a story by itself. But as selfish as that may sound, I don't think he's come back anytime soon.
Nah, yeah. I mean, it don't seem like it, but to be honest, if he feels that much ill will towards what WWE got going on right now, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's best to give him some time away and cause
Because in a recent interview, or not recent, he was quoted stating that he'd rather work at a McDonald's than go back over there.
yeah. Like I'm not gonna lie too, like these dudes, Steph and Roman recovered and did way more than like I'm not saying what John Moxley what he did in Japan wasn't special, but I'm talking about like come on the bloodline alone. It's just everybody and would say that this is the greatest story ever told, just hands down, no doubt about it.
Well, before I get into that, the stint in Japan with John Moxley didn't even scratch the surface with anything because he came quicker than he left quicker than he came.
He came quick. That's probably how that trip went, right? Like out of
Uh,
a little
uh,
quickly.
and to a degree, even Jack Perry, like they didn't even scratch the surface of how good they could be over there. Yet Mox is going purely off the Dean Ambrose star power over there, and Jack Perry is only there because he was essentially excommunicated from AEW, and then the minute folks got to liking both of them, it's like they were gone. Like Moxley allegedly wanted to be full time in Japan. Tony Khan throws him a fuckload of cash, and then that's that. Folks were hoping that Perry was gonna at least stay in Japan, not go to AEW for at least a year and a half. That didn't happen because Tony has to get what he wants. Yet he'll send Jericho there whenever Jericho wants. Next Saturday, in 7 days, this is essentially Kenny Omega's return match, but it will not be for AEW. It'll be for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Because Kenny Omega stated that he feels that New Japan is more worthy to have his return than his own company. What does that say about the state of AEW?
Yeah. I mean, it says a lot. I feel like Kenny don't even want nothing to do with them. Let me just
It
be
seems like he's
honest.
washing his hands of the company.
Yeah, that's what it
Like
feels like.
and like I said, like him and the Bucks are extremely close together, and like that was alarming. Now, granted, Kenny isn't a spring chicken. He's put his body through hell, and he's gone through hell to get back to where he is fighting this diverticulitis. And yes, Japan is essentially his home. There's no doubting that. It's just very telling that his first match back in a professional wrestling ring is not for his current employer. Like, imagine, say, if Roman Reigns takes a 2-3 year hiatus, and the first time we see him in a ring is in TNA, whilst under contract for WWE. You love to see him there, but what sense does this make?
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I still have nobody has yet to get back to me on Rob Van Dam's contractual situation with AEW and I mean he's under a Legends deal. We seen him on WWE. We know he good with them. But that might have been I remember I
My
had
brother,
mentioned.
you and I both know that Rob Van Dam goes wherever the fuck Rob Van Dam wants to be.
And bro,
Can't
that's what
nobody tell him no.
I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not just
Because
saying it because they
you could
wrestlers,
tell him
everyone.
you could tell him no, but he's gonna be too high to remember it anyways.
Bro, as somebody that streams constantly, I urge people to take your destiny in your own hands and have control. And if it's possible to be everywhere, there's nothing wrong with holding loyalty. But if you're at a certain point in the game where you hold the leverage, I mean, use it, right? Like, come on, what are we doing here? What are we doing, chat? Come on.
But I mean, Rob Van Dam will go wherever that he's appreciated. But also, I think it's at a point to where
I love it.
Tony Khan's getting to a point to where if you have anything positive to say about the folks up in Stamford, Connecticut, you are now his op. So essentially, you're costing yourself business. You're costing yourself money.
I'm not gonna lie too. And anybody that do business with AEW, some like they look foolish. Like I'm gonna just be honest with you, cause all right, so HBO Max, right? They owned by or they I don't know what's the partnership exactly, but they in bed with Warner Brothers.
Well,
Warner Bro-
Warner Brothers owns HBO Max.
Warner Brothers owns HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
And HBO Max got the AEW, right?
And starting January 1st, the library will be on Max. Or some of the
Now
library.
Disney over here, they in bed with Warner Brothers too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, no,
Or
no, 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 no. Disney owns ESPN,
okay,
and essentially they're both partner or sister programs with TKO Endeavor, which owns WWE, UFC, and now the PBR.
And this is what I'm saying. Like they looking like Warner Bros. They really looking like little bros.
And on top of
Because
that, so you got to think WWE has a partnership with the UFC, ESPN, NBC, USA, Disney, and now Netflix.
yeah, you talk about there's already WWE characters in Fortnite.
On top of that, what you call Fox already dropped AEW,
Man,
and that was only in Mexico that they were in.
so it's like you really sign on board with AEW, and then it don't like AEW bragging that they got Warner Brothers on board with them. They ain't saying much. Is my whole
Well,
point.
I mean, they were having a Fox pretty good till they announced that it was only for Fox in Mexico, and Fox in Mexico tells them to kick rocks because you ain't bringing in no numbers. So your numbers are so bad, you're essentially costing us money to put you on our airways.
Yeah. That's why it was tough for Paul Heyman to get on air with ECW. The only thing is, at least ECW had the fans that wanted to watch that shit was clamoring for more, as AEW did at one point.
I
But
mean,
the,
remember
the
Vince was paying for the most part.
you know what I mean? But from what he would say, you know, Paul Heyman's story, they had to pay to get on the network. Vince
Mm-hmm.
funded, helped them get on. But again, that's what happens though when the cable network don't believe in you. The numbers ain't coming and they're not paying for that shit. Somebody, this could be a paid programming slot. Somebody could pay us to be on air.
Well, look at Jeff here in the early TNA days where they were weekly pay-per-views and Spike TV saw what they were doing. They were a fan of it and they said, hey, come on down.
Man, now look at this access channel, right? TNA, New Japan, they found a little network there that's willing to host.
Also, you got to remember, Access is a subproduct of Fox, who is a subproduct of Disney. Keep that in mind.
See, I didn't know the history of access. That's why you remember I was trying to ask you, damn, you think I could find that channel over here?
Yeah.
That's something, man. No, nobody talk about that channel over here.
Yeah, essentially like it's like the second or third cousin of Fox order, but still technically a product of Fox/Disney.
Yep. So there they go. Again, nobody gonna really wanna when you taking shots at WWE, you're not thinking about the working relationships across the board. That's why it's easy. TNA, like again, they good. They just chilling, they vibing, they not disrupting.
They're at a point to where they were in a scary spot once they parted ways with Scott D'Amore. The roster kind of said, "Hey, we got. We know what good of a product we can do." WWE says, "Allow us to help you out. You guys get more eyes on your product in exchange for you guys training our younger NXT crop, and NXT and TNA will both grow together." And look at both of them now.
Yeah. And I'm be honest, I see
I
more
think I
people
think
talking
I
about
think
TNA now. Not
I
saying they
think
weren't talking about
almost
them, but
all of TNA's pay per views or PLEs now this year have been sold out.
and
They haven't had that feeling in years.
They don't look bad either. Like the setups for them pay-per-views don't look bad.
Yeah, and they've all and them and Ring of Honor back in the day, they kind of mastered the art of small intimate crowds to where I'm sure if produced and presented properly, they can probably get about 20, 30,000 people in a venue, but they're cool with 7 to 10, and or maybe even three sometimes, and they'll make it work.
Man, that shit. We spinning the block on other thing. We giving them an extra sidebar on the after the SmackDown. Anything else we got passed on SmackDown? Anything we might have missed?
I won't say we missed anything, but let's just see what the final WWE product of 2024 holds this Monday.
I'm be honest, I don't know what to look forward to on that episode Monday, but I'm gonna watch. But I don't know what's gonna happen.
So off the top of my head, we're getting Gable versus Otis. We're getting a stare down between Liv and Rhea. We're getting a stare down between Punk and Seth. We should be getting the semis for the women's IC championship match.
You seen Nikki Cross bit Scarlett's ass?
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Man,
We're-
I mean, Raw should be Raw.
I would assume that we're getting what's his name? Uncle Howdy versus Cross maybe on the Netflix show. Otherwise, I think it should already, if it's not already announced for this Monday, but that should be coming up soon. But I mean, aside from matches in general, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just mostly women's matches.
Okay.
And maybe a possible Roman sighting, or that may wait till the following Monday, but we shall see.
Yeah, I doubt it. We ain't even getting no words from Roman tonight.
Will we see Roman on the first 3-hour episode of SmackDown next Friday?
Again, I think it's dependent on. Well, you said on Friday. That's January 3rd, right?
Correct.
Yeah, before the. Yep. I could say yeah. I want to say yeah. Before the January 6th Raw. Got to set up the weekend. Got to get them hyped. Think something's gonna happen.
But I know I've been saying this for months, but we are inching ever so closely to John Cena's retirement. The more I say, the closer we get to the start of this these 40 dates, the more slowly sinking in that
That's a sidebar that I
it's
want to
happening.
talk to you about. I got lined up for us after we do this episode because there's two people that I've been seeing floating around, and I want to make that a little topic. I don't mind stating to people it's John Cena versus Cody Rhodes or John Cena versus Logan Paul. I've been seeing those two names attached to John Cena for WrestleMania. I'd like to make that a good sidebar.
And the latter one is the more interesting one I want to pick your brain on.
Yeah, so we definitely could get into that after this for sure. So as soon as we cut this episode, we're gonna go right into the other joint like we did last time for the folks. And y'all
Sounds
keep your
good.
eyes out. Yo.
Y'all
If
stay
anything,
tuned.
yeah, let's get into it now. We're gonna roll y'all out with the music. Let's take this off the screen for a second so you can go hit that QR code. Go! Do it now.
I think they lost the script. We got some shooters.
My Roy Rumble shirt. Hold on. The Roy Rumble shirt, the Austin shirt.
What?
Chilling at the head of the table where the boss
Gearing up for
sits.
Royal Rumble
Stunning
season.
everything in sight, whether it's in the bloodline or
Ooh-wee.
Right around the corner.
Walk me out, get rid of big
Ooh-wee, right
smile
around.
on. Handcuffed by officers. Hold on,
Hold on, wait.
They